Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Just Talking About Sports. I'm Ethan.
I'm Matthew.
And I'm Michael.
And Matt, what are we doing today?
Just talking about sports.
Love the energy. And we were filming this a little bit earlier in the morning, but we are still bringing the energy because guess what? More college basketball, more madness. So today we got 5 more conferences we're going to be covering, and pretty much 5 more conferences for every single video that we're going to be doing the rest of the way down, as we're going to be starting off with 5 more conferences. This one's going to be we got a big one to start off. It's going to be the ACC because they are ending up starting on Tuesday. So we're going to be trying to get this video as soon as possible. Then we're going to be moving to the Big West, then the Conference USA, then to the Southland, and then there's going to be a game starting on Wednesday because Wednesday's slate for conferences starting up is crazy. So we're moving the Big Sky into today's videos so we can at least cover them and get them out as soon as possible. So those are our 5 conferences, and we cannot wait to get into it because we're finally being able to talk about one of the first the first like Power 5 or Power 6, whatever you want to call it, conferences, because they're finally starting, and that is the Atlantic Coast Conference, otherwise known as the ACC. This one is where Virginia has claimed the top dog. They ended up winning it yesterday thanks to a Florida State loss to Notre Dame, which was very surprising. And then Florida State still in second, still a pretty solid team. Virginia Tech in third, Georgia Tech in fourth, and the rest kind of we'll look into them a little bit more, but not for now. Don't really care about them. So, Matt, who do you have in this absolutely stacked conference? But a down year for a conference, but a stacked conference.
Yeah, a name you didn't hear is Duke. This is the storyline. There is nothing else. This is the storyline. Duke is dead. And seeing the ACC run by different teams is, well, Virginia's had its dominance, but they're not better than, in my opinion, they're not better than Florida State. But when it comes down to the end of the day, I think Virginia in this conference has pure advantage because Florida State's walking in ice cold after a tough loss to Notre Dame. And I think they have possibly the worst draw of the bracket, having to play early. They're going to have to play either Louisville or Duke, and then they're going to have to play if they survive that, they're going to have to play Virginia Tech. So I think Florida State gets bounced early. And my prediction here, I'm going to even though I just said I don't think Virginia's the best team in the conference, I am going to take them because they got Sam Hauser, and that kid is just going to run all over the place. Jay Huff is really good as well. Virginia's just got the best balanced roster, and right now, if you look at them, I don't think they're a great tournament team to pick when it comes to the ACC. There's a lot of deep threats. I think they survived Georgia Tech. But if Virginia does lose this conference, I think it goes to Georgia Tech. I'm taking Virginia. I think that is the right pick here. But I don't have a lot of confidence if any of these teams going far in the actual tourney.
All right, Michael, your thoughts?
Matt's take on Florida State having a more difficult road. I think Virginia has a much more difficult road. I mean, I don't think they're going to struggle with that dumb orange team from New York. But after that, Georgia Tech or Clemson, I think both those teams could beat them like really easily. Versus for Florida State, Louisville hasn't beaten anybody. Their best win is at Duke. It's not impressive. And then I think UNC takes out Virginia Tech. I'm not worried about UNC beating Florida State. UNC is good. I think they're kind of peaking at the right time, but I trust this Florida State team more. I just do. And then I'm going to have Florida State playing Georgia Tech in the final. And give me the Seminoles. I think the Noles go out and take it. I'm not really worried about the early slump. And I'm more worried about Virginia there. I don't think Virginia loses in the first round, or their first game is what I mean. But I think the next game they play, the 4-5 game, is a very dangerous spot. So I'm going to go with Florida State, and I'm going to go with them taking down Georgia Tech in the final.
All right, this is a stacked conference, so trying to find somebody in such a big conference like this is going to be hard. But I really want to take Georgia Tech, but I'm going to use my logic here and just stay away from that. And I think I have to stick with Virginia at the top. I have to. They're a solid team. They're one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, not the best because Loyola is technically on paper the best. You always got to shout out Loyola, but I know Virginia had a rough stretch where they lost 3 straight, but at least they got that off their belt, and now they're going to be back up and running right as we begin into the ACC conference start, because I think this Virginia team is able to do it. Yes, they have their ups and downs, and they always find a way to fluke against the Hokies, but the Virginia Tech is the most bipolar team in college basketball by a landslide. So I've never really trusted them, and I don't think I ever will this season. So no matter where they are or how good they are in the bracket, I don't trust them. So I think Virginia, yeah, they have a little bit harder stretch, but I think because of their depth that they have on the team, I think they should be able to handle everybody and should be able to claim the ACC. So
watch out for Luma on Virginia Tech. That kid can go in spurts and go crazy. I do believe that I didn't say who I picked Virginia to beat. That's going to be Virginia Tech for me. I think Virginia Tech's a big time sleeper team. They will have their runs, they will have their faults, but they're starting to play a lot better here towards the end. I'm going to say Virginia Tech is going to be a team to watch. I think they're the team that goes the furthest from the ACC in the actual tournament. They just don't win here.
UNC speaking right now, I think UNC takes them. I mean, I like the way UNC played yesterday. Caleb Love is an excellent lead guard. They got good bigs. Walker Kessler's looked really good recently. Daron Sharp's really good. Garrison Brooks had a senior day that was emotional to watch, but they also beat Duke by like 1,000. So thank you for that. America appreciates that. Yeah, I think UNC speaking right now. I think UNC takes them, and I don't trust Virginia Tech in the actual tournament. I think they're like a 6-7, and I think they get a bad matchup early on. And I think they could lose in the first round very easily. If you put them against the Bonnies, there's no chance on this earth I'm not taking the Bonnies. Taking the Bonnies, I'm taking them comfortably. That's the matchup I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I like a team like St. Bonaventure, and obviously we already discussed the Atlantic 10, but a team like them I think can go really far against some of these Power 6 mediocrities, such as a Georgia Tech or Virginia Tech. I think that's a good matchup.
Super quick before I move on to the next conference, though, I just want to also mention that North Carolina is 3-7 on the road. So I get that they're hot right now, but that away record is very daunting for me to try and believe in them. And since they're not going to be playing at home, it's going to be a little bit harder for them the rest of the season. So I guess that will do it.
Tournament, I don't think.
They're not going to the tournament. I don't know. They have a chance to make
these two. They make the tournament as like a 10 seed, and
they ain't getting anywhere else.
They lose in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, that will do it for the ACC. We've got to keep rolling because we got 4 more conferences to run through. And this one now we're going to be moving to is the Big West. This one has been a interesting conference because not many people really talk about one because we're nowhere near the western part of the United States. So these teams are a little bit lesser known to us. But there's been a few teams here at the top that have been kind of standing out. And that one of them has been UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos. They are 19-4, 13-3, and they have been playing very, very well. And they are right now looking like favorites to win this Big West Conference. But you also got teams like the UC Irvine Anteaters, as everyone remembers them, big March Madness team. And then you got UC Riverside Highlanders, and you got UC Davis, and the rest don't really care about. So, Matt, who do you think is going to win the Big West this year?
I think we're getting a sweep here. I believe that you are not looking at one of the good conferences out here. I think the Big West always has a lot of strong teams and a lot of weak teams. California dominated in this entire conference. University of California teams all landed top 4. There has been one guarantee from this conference, and it's that University of California, Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, have been absolutely dominant and will continue to be through this conference tournament. UCSB has been absolutely excellent. Nobody's been able to really put on a lot of pressure on the Gauchos. Finished the season at a 19-4 record. 13-3 conference is very solid, especially against a lot of these tough matched up teams. I think UCSB gets in through McLaughlin's efforts, his ability to score. I think he's averaging like 16 a game. Yeah, 16 a game. I think that overall, I don't see anybody taking UC Santa Barbara. UC Irvine's a good tournament team, but I don't know how well they're going to survive the Big West Conference because they've been a bit down in that conference this year, not as good as they used to be. I'll comfortably take UC Santa Barbara. This team is going to be extremely dangerous and a team worth watching in March Madness for sure.
Michael, any ideas?
I agree with him completely. I think the Gauchos are pretty far and away the best team in this league. And they remind me a lot of that UC Irvine team a couple years back that people didn't really talk about them until the tournament started. People are like, this team's winning a game. They're winning a game. Like no one said anything about them, and then boom, they're right there. Gauchos are the exact same way. I think this Gauchos team is really good. I watched them early in the season. They played Pepperdine. I think this was after Pepperdine had a decent showing early on, and they beat them from tip to finish. Like, I mean, they killed them. The worry is they lost to UC Irvine twice, but they also lost those games in December? I'm pulling it up right now. Stall. Late December. Those teams are not the same right now. I mean, this UCSB team is really good. As you said, McLaughlin's probably their best player. Amadou Sow, good name, very good basketball player. I mean, this team, I trust them a ton. I think they can steal a game in the tournament very easily. They'll be a very dangerous 12 if they make it. And I got them making it pretty comfortably.
All right. I mean, I hate to be against you guys, but I can't pick against the Anteaters of UC Irvine and my boy Colin Welp, because Welp, I guess I'm picking them. And dude's been averaging 14.8 points, 7.7 rebounds, and this has been been a great. He's been one of their star players for this team. And thanks, Matt. Thanks for the enthusiasm. But like I said, when you look at how UC Irvine has matched up against against UC Santa Barbara, the games that they played were never really close. I mean, the closest was a 4-point game where they were able to, and then the first game was an absolute smacking. They almost won by 20 in that game. So I know they played in December, but this UC Irvine team has the tournament experience. They have the ability. They know where to do, and they were just in it 2 years ago. And they not only were just in it, they won 2 years ago. Like won the game, made it to the round of 32 round of 32. So I think that I know UC Santa Barbara's had their good year, but I think this is going to be one of the conferences where they do end up dropping in the Cinderella story for them. The ball runs out and they run out of time. So I think UC Irvine is going to be able to take it. One, because I believe in the Anderson too. I didn't want to have everyone pick the Gauchos this time. So even though I believe in them, but I think the UC Irvine is the more stronger team overall. So
it would be a shame to see two teams that have been so good in the season, UC Santa Barbara and Belmont, both just not get in because of lack of other scheduling issues. And if you guys have not seen, Belmont lost last night handily in the Ohio Valley Championship. So, and somebody called that. But I do believe that Belmont is out. I believe
they're out. They're an NIT team.
Yeah. UCSB is the same way. If they don't win this conference, they're definitely 1 seed NIT or 2 seed. But I do believe that we would be robbed of 2 very good mid-major programs that will not get a shot in the tournament. UCSB's got to win. They know they have that fire under them. I think this is a pretty clean conference for them this year.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
All right.
Western is still there at UC Irvine, so they can win it. Like, they know what to do, but
I don't see it.
This Santa Barbara team is so good. They're so good. Like, you'll watch them play one game, and you'll be like, oh, shit, this team can play. They can play. They can play.
All right, Colin Welp. We'll move on to the. I'm gonna keep using that the rest of the video. We'll move on to the Conference USA, which is our next conference in line. This one's been one a little under the radar, as they've had a few good teams. They got the East and West divisions in this one. You got Louisiana Tech with the overall best record. Western Kentucky is technically ahead if you look at the percentages. Then you got Louisiana Tech, and then UAB right behind them in that. And then you got Old Dominion in 4th, and that's pretty much it in terms of that. But there's a few teams with 20 wins this season. You got Louisiana and UAB with 20 wins. And then Western Kentucky, they had their chance to go out and prove themselves against Houston and weren't able to do so. They're 0-2 in the AP poll, but there's still some hope for this team. So, Matt, who do you got in the Conference USA?
This is different this year. This conference always seems to have one good team that makes it to the tournament. This year, you got a lot. This is definitely the most stacked this USA has been in a while. UAB came into the season with a lot of prospects, hoping they could go far. Hasn't been the season they were hoping for, and even still, they went 21-6. Western Kentucky is another perfect example. At one point, many people thought, holy crap, this team's going to be really good. And they never really got to that point. In their game against Houston, they completely showed that they weren't ready for the big stage. But there's one team nobody's talked about in this conference this year, and that's Louisiana Tech. Their ability to move the ball around and just get it to a multitude of different scores, and Isaiah Crawford's ability to just control the game. I'm gonna take Louisiana Tech. It's definitely the underdog pick here. But I have confidence in this team. Got a chance to see a couple of their games last night, and they're very solid. I think this team all around is extremely balanced. They have an ability to do everything. They can get to the glass. They can shoot the three ball. They can play excellent defense. This team can do it all. And I feel like there's that flaw in Western Kentucky, that big it factor that they don't have. And UAB is the same way. I think Louisiana Tech has been sliding under the radar all season. They continue to do it, and they make the tournament.
All right, Michael, your thoughts?
Yeah, here's the thing about Western Kentucky. They have far and away the most talented roster.
Yes.
But they're also just a stupid team. Like, you know, this saying, like, you pass up a good shot for a great shot? Western Kentucky passes up a great shot for a bad shot. They're just dumb. They just are. They have so much talent. They're just dumb. And I don't trust them. They're too dumb for me to pick them. They'll probably win it because I said that, but they're a dumb team, and they'll get a 12, and I'll pick them in the first round, and they'll lose by 100. But I'm not picking them here. I think they actually have a pretty difficult road because in the first game, I think they go against Javon Jackson and UTSA. And there is not a game where Javon Jackson can't go out there and get 30. He can get 30 if he wants to. And look, if he's on that day, they ain't beating him. Javon Jackson, Keaton Wallace, good backcourt duo. But I'm not going to take UTSA either. I'm going to go down south also. I'm going to take the North Texas Mean Green. This team is really good. They defend, and they play at a snail's pace. They have the 345th fastest team in Division I, and they're, 356 teams in Division I? So they're really slow paced, but they can play defense, and they got a star. Javion Hamlet, while he's only averaging 14 points a game, this team plays so slow that that's actually a lot. And he is efficient in almost every facet of the game. Well, he was better last year, but shorter season probably hasn't helped. But I like this team a lot, even though they did lose their last two games to UAB. They got pretty embarrassed there. I think that's a wake-up call to realize, we got to keep playing. They've lost 3 straight, but I think they use this as a wake-up call to get ready. Javion Hamlet looked better in those last few games, and I think he wakes up. I think they take their first game against either Middle Tennessee State or FIU, and that really wakes them up. They get it rolling, and I just think they can take down every team they go against. And I have Eastern and Western Kentucky losing to Marshall. Just put that out there.
It's a bold pick right there. A team on a 3-game losing streak, and you're taking them. But for me,
Mean Green, baby.
The Mean Green. I do respect it though.
Numbers.
They've had this conference's number for a little while, but I can't choose against the best player in this conference, and we all know who the best player in this conference is, and that's Charles Bassey in Western Kentucky. Dude is 4th in defensive leader in terms of rebounds per game. Also is 3rd in blocks per game in the entire country. Remember that? And dude is an NBA prospect, and when a guy is that well and being able to control the tempo and be able to control the entire, I think, conference, in my opinion, when he's able to drop at least 20 to 30 a night, I think Western Kentucky is hard to beat. Yes, they went out and they got embarrassed against Houston, but at least they're up and they were bold enough to go and take that offer and bold enough to go out, reaching out for that to go try and prove themselves. Where these other teams in these conferences, they haven't really versed anybody of any stature, really. And that's my biggest worry about everybody except for them. Yes, the Western Kentucky lost both games, but they now have the experience. And I think with Charles Bassey running the reins for Western Kentucky, I think there's nothing really stopping them. I mean, they're even, Bassey's even averaging 11.8 rebounds per game. That's unbelievable. That is some Dennis Rodman numbers right there at that point. But I just have Western Kentucky winning this one pretty quick and obvious. And just because let's spice things up, get all 3 of us on different sides of the story for this conference, and that's the fun of it, man. And they're also played very well against some of the other teams that you guys mentioned. I think Western Kentucky, the 2 games that they were supposed to play against North Texas didn't get to play them, but in terms of Louisiana Tech, they split, and rest of the season they've been doing very, very well. So I can't choose against them, and I'm going to be joining the Hilltoppers.
I think if they're playing at their ceiling, they're a Sweet 16 team easily. But when they play at that floor, in which I think they do pretty early in this tournament, and if they're playing at that floor and Javon Jackson drops 30, that game won't even be close. UTSA will kill them. But he's probably not doing that, and that team can't play any defense. So I'm not picking them.
All right, so that's going to do it for Conference USA. We'll keep on rolling to the next conference. Moving on, we're going to be moving to the last game that is going to be starting on Tuesday, and that is the Southland Conference. This one is where we got Nichols in first, the Nichols Colonels. Man, cannot say that. I am messing that up. Then you got Abilene Christian, solid team right there for the Wildcats. You got Sam Houston State in third, Stephen F. Austin. That's Matt's team right there in fourth, and the rest don't really care about. So, Matt, since I just kind of mentioned your name right there, who do you got in the Southland Conference?
Well, Stephen F. Austin's been your normal team. Here's the issue. Self-imposed postseason ban due to academics, and so they are not going to be in March Madness. They are not even in the Southland Conference tournament, so they can't play spoiler. So your fourth seed is Northwestern State. Wanted to mention that, but it's the fact that they're actually doing this good. Northwestern State is clap worthy. But Sam Houston State was supposed to be the team in this conference this year. That has not been the case because one team has gone absolutely crazy. That's Nicholls State. They are red hot heading into the tourney, and Ty Gordon has been absolutely excellent, averaging 15, 4, and 4. You're putting up great stat line. You've won 7 straight games. The Southland Conference, once again, is loaded top to bottom. You got Nicholls State, Abilene Christian, Sam Houston State, Northwestern State, all of which I believe can win this tournament. And I'm going to take Nicholls State because I like to ride on that momentum factor. If you're on fire, you're gonna get my pick because that always seems to be the thing that gets people moving in the tournament. And so I'm gonna stick with Nicholls State here. I believe that they have the most balanced team once again. Their ability to move the ball in transition and their ability to have a big time scorer, rebounder, and passer like Ty Gordon gives them the advantage to win this conference.
All right, Michael, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is actually a pretty easy pick for me. There was no chance I was picking any other team. I'm going with the Abilene Christian Wildcats. This team is so good. I mean, their defense is ranked 37th in adjusted defensive efficiency in the country. That's elite. That is an elite level defense, especially for a Southland team. That's insane. I mean, they stopped Texas Tech's offense and they limited them to 51 points. 51. That's insane. I mean, this team is awesome. I watched them play very early in the season because I thought Austin Peay was going to be very good. They controlled that game tip to finish. They limited Texas Tech's offense to 51 points. Joe Golding's the head coach of this team. They are awesome. They play defense. They've won 10 of the last 11. And in 2 of the last 4 games, they beat Sam Houston State and they won at Stephen F. Austin. I mean, this team is really good. They have 4 losses. It's to Texas Tech by 7. Yeah, that's fine. At Arkansas by 13. In a game that game felt like more, but again, not going to punish them for that. They just came out and had a bad game. At Sam Houston State, a team that's really good in this conference early on. Again, not going to fold them for that. And then late in the season, they slipped to Central Arkansas. I think that's one you can fault them for. But they've won 10 of the last 11. They're really good. They defend excellently. And they have a very balanced scoring roster. No one averages over 13 points. Their leading scorer averages 12.2, yet they average 77 points on the season. They got balance. They got multiple guys who can beat you on any given day, and they play defense. That's the thing. If you play defense in March, you can win games, and I think they will. I got Abilene Christian, the 2 seed. I think they're far and away the best team in this conference.
Yeah, you can't pick against a team of 21 wins compared to everybody else in the conference, especially when a 10 and 17 team is going to get a 4 seed in this conference. There's a whole gap between everything. So I got to stick with Abilene Christian as well. They're not a very high scoring team, like you said. They rely on because they're a solely defensive oriented team. And I mean, I hate to keep picking against him, Matt, but I have to stick with Abilene Christian just because from what I witnessed too, they're the most solid team. And at least from top to bottom, there's, like you said, there's no really, they got a guy Colin Cole, averaging 12.2 points. And besides that, there's just guys they got 3 guys in double digits, nobody else really close to that. But hey, they don't need to score high points. Or that many points. They scored 90 points once this season. Besides that, they're still winning games despite not scoring that much because they don't need to because of how elite their defense is. And like you said, elite defenses later in the season, biggest factor in tournaments, and that's why I have Abilene Christian winning. So, all right, that will do it for our Tuesday's games. We'll move into our final conference for today. This one is going to be one that is starting on Wednesday because there are so many conferences and we couldn't fit them in the other ones. We didn't want to cover six conferences in one video, so we're going to be covering the Big Sky Conference. This one has Southern Utah, who just claimed the title for the Big Sky title yesterday, where they finished with a record of 12-2, 19-3 overall. Then you got Weber State right behind them at 12-3, Eastern Washington at 12-3 as well. You got Idaho State Bengals, and we don't really care about the rest of them. So, Matt, any ideas on who's going to be winning the Big Sky Conference?
Well, this is one of my easiest picks so far. There are two teams that are red hot in this conference, but one of them has 9 straight wins and is 19-3. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to your biggest underdog of the entire tourney, Southern Utah. And I'm ready to explain my case. They have won 9 straight games, and the conference normally loads itself on having multiple 20-win teams in a regular season. Their ability to shoot the 3 ball is fantastic. And what Southern Utah does, that what Southern Utah can say, that very few other teams can. You got 4 scorers averaging at least 12 points. They run this conference with the ability to score the basketball. And it's led, of course, by Tavion Jones, averaging 17 points. Easy pick. This team is going to run. And if I end up being wrong, so be it. But I have high confidence that this team is not going to fall. I love seeing Weber State up here with 6 straight wins, but I just don't think they have the firepower to match the Thunderbirds of Southern Utah.
All right, Michael, you gonna stick with them, or are you gonna choose another side?
Yeah, I think we know where this is going. I'm taking another side, obviously, because this is what Matt and I do. We take different teams. I'm looking at Eastern Washington. I think this is a team that's really good. The record non-conference is kind of deceiving because they played a ton of Pac-12 teams, like these really good teams. They went at Washington State and could have won that game. They lost by 3. They went at Arizona, could have won that game. They lost by 3. They went at Oregon. That game was really close for a half. And Oregon sort of like 10 minutes left in the game. They sort of put that one in cruise control. And then they went at St. Mary's and lost by 5. Like they were playing good teams early on. They tested themselves, so they were ready. They lost 2 games early in conference play. They started this conference 2-2, and they ended 12-3. They're a really good team. They play fast and they score points. They got good offense. Tanner Groves is an elite offensive player. They got 5 guys in double figures, almost averaging all over 11. Michael Meadows is averaging 10.9, so that ruins it. But really balanced team. This team plays fast. They get buckets, so they're fun to watch. So there's a team that plays fast and gets buckets. I want to pick them. And because Matt mentioned 3-point shooting, I had to look it up. Eastern Washington is 68th in the country. That's pretty good. Weber State was ahead of them, but I just think Eastern Washington has too many weapons, too much firepower, and they're tested enough. I like this team. This team could be kind of scary in the tournament. I'd say they're probably like, a 14 seed if they make it, maybe a 15. But this team, I think they're really good. I think they're going under the radar, but I think they can steal a game or at least keep people on their toes. And I like this team a lot. I got Eastern Washington. I got them pretty comfortably. I shouldn't say that. I got them winning.
They are. What is Eastern Washington is a solid team. I mean, they were able, like earlier in the season, they were able to keep up with Arizona, almost won that game, and then almost went out, and I believe they almost beat St. Mary's too when they were out in the against them. But I can't choose against a team with that much firepower from the 3 in Southern Utah. I'm just looking at the amount of offense that's on this team, and in terms of 9-game winning streak, one of the highest in the country right now, thanks to everyone that keeps losing. So Thunderbirds red hot headed into here. They didn't play anybody really hard so far during this 9-game winning streak, but which with their most recent loss coming to Weber State way back in January. But I think that just because of the sole reason that they are 4 guys, averaging double-digit points, and not only just double-digit points, they're 12 and above, including, I believe, Tevion Jones averaging 17.1 points per game. That is electric for a player like that in the Big Sky, averaging that much. And I enjoy watching some offense. Yes, defense wins the championships, but when you got 4 guys averaging this many points per game, and all of them have basically only missed 2 guys only missed 1 game, and the rest have all played every single game, I think that this team is going to be a hard team to stop. I mean, they hit 100 points in back-to-back games, which is unbelievable for college basketball. So I think this team's firepower is unbelievable, and they have a very, very high ceiling going into this tournament, and we'll see where they go. But I think Southern Utah's got it. As much as I want to take them or take Eastern Washington or Upper State, I think Southern Utah's the better team.
I have one thing to say really quick before we wrap up this video. Want to give a shout out to the two teams that have made the tournament already. Liberty, by default, because they're playing North Alabama, has locked up a spot in the Atlantic Sun, excuse me. Morehead State took down Belmont yesterday, and I want to wish my Winthrop good luck, because they only have one loss, and they need this. They deserve this more than anybody else, and I want to see them win today. Take down the Camels of Campbell. You got this, Winthrop. Good luck.
You guys can keep sleeping on my Eastern Washington Eagles. You can keep sleeping on my Eagles. That's all. Keep sleeping on my Eagles. That's fine.
It's fine, but the problem is you got Southern Utah and Weber State to get through, and they're not getting through Weber State even.
Yep.
So, not a chance.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
I love it.
All right, though. That's gonna do it for our part 5 of our college basketball conference video. We're at 5 parts into this, and we're gonna keep on pushing more and more videos, as we still got at least two more videos, I think, jam-packed with conferences we still have to go through, because once again, we still haven't really covered the Power 5, Power 6 conferences, because they're not starting until next week. But we did get to start off with one of them today, which we enjoyed going over, because that is a big conference, the ACC, and absolutely loved going through it. But other than that, I think that will do it. Hope everyone has enjoyed this video, and hope everyone has enjoyed all of our conference videos, because we got no other choice. We're going to keep posting them. So, and our AP poll video is going to attempt to come out at least sooner than later, if I have time to, because I've been posting so many of these. So sorry we couldn't get the AP poll out yet, but I'm attempting to try and get it out just so we have proof that we did cover it. So, all right, that's going to do it. And I hope everyone has enjoyed. And until next time, we'll be here just talking about sports.
Have a good one. Go Drake today.